It's another episode of Oops, the Democrats did it again. Democrats, they seem to be channeling their inner Britney because these blue team blunderers just can't help themselves. Gavin Newsom's climate hoax over the Pacific Palisades fire? Oh, that drastically flopped today after news broke of a suspect in custody. Then Kristi Noem, she puts Portland on blast after exposing who is really in charge. This coming after she met with the city's leaders. And Chicago's mayor, he does it again. He's crying racism while his city collapses. And don't even get me started on Katie Porter, the potato-flinging Democrat candidate from California who is running for governor. She just ended her own career without even knowing it. Stick with me as we have the receipts to roast the Dems because accountability is finally back. Hit that like button, subscribe, and stay tuned for that viral clip that we have at the end of the show. It is sure to end a governor campaign faster than the Dems can cook up their next hoax. But before we dive into the fire, quick breaker. Disgraced former FBI Director James Comey made his first appearance in court today. Watch.
Here is the breaking news. The former FBI Director James Comey in front of a judge moments ago in a hearing that we did not think would last long, and apparently that is the case. He has entered a plea of not guilty to 2 charges, federal level now. Our producers inside the courtroom say the former director accused of lying to Congress, obstructing a congressional proceeding, entered the plea moments ago in front of the judge, Michael Nachmanoff, appointed by Joe Biden, not guilty on both federal charges. He's accused of lying in front of Congress back in 2020. So that is the update inside the courtroom.
Let's go now inside the courtroom where a CNN legal analyst had a front row seat to this hearing. Here's what she said the defense is now arguing.
Our view is the prosecution was brought at the direction of President Trump. And then he told the court, this is how we're going to roll on the defense side. The plan for the defense is to challenge every way they can how this prosecution has been brought, how the indictment was brought, and the work of Lindsay Halligan, the U.S. attorney put into place by Donald Trump just days before she presented this case to a grand jury, got their approval.
This case is moving at lightning speed. The trial is set to begin in just 3 months. Now, usually the defense wants to slow things down, but Comey's team, they're flooring it. Why? Probably to keep prosecutors from finding even more evidence because they know that they're under the gun to bring this case to trial because of the statute of limitations, and the time now is only on the side of the prosecution. Here's what we can expect to unfold next.
What is going to happen over the next couple of weeks? Even months, but not many months, is that they're going to challenge Halligan's appointment. That is one major motion that they're going to be filing with the judge, and another judge will be brought in to hear if Lindsay Halligan is appropriately shepherding this prosecution, this case through the system. So they're going to try and get her tossed off. That's a way to toss the case. They're also going to challenge the case on a couple other grounds. Vindictive and selective prosecution. Was Comey retaliated against unfairly by the government, and should the case be tossed in that way? And then a few others, they're going to allege grand jury abuse. They're going to allege outrageous government conduct.
The prosecution told the judge they're still sifting through evidence, but the Biden-appointed judge called it a pretty straightforward case. Now, Comey obviously, again, racing the clock. He wants this over before too many new details can come to light. Over on News Nation, Chris Cuomo, he tried to take a swing at Eric Trump, claiming the Trump administration perfected political warfare. Didn't go over well. This is a bold take from the same guy whose brother was run out of the office by Letitia James. So you'd think he would know, right? You'd think Cuomo would have learned to stay away from the family scandals. But no, he's out here defending Democrat darlings like James Comey, and Eric Trump, he mops the floor with Cuomo. Watch this.
Do you think that it is fair to say it looks like the administration is going after its political opponents now and doing exactly what you say you oppose?
What, Comey? Because I mean, it seemed very clear to me in the congressional testimony. I don't know, just watching it, I certainly seemed like he lied to me. I mean, I'm also wondering what an FBI director is doing, taking memos from the FBI and leaking them to the New York Times.
I'm asking you questions about whether or not, if something is wrong, it is also wrong to do the same thing when you get back in power, which certainly happened the first time the administration came in. You went right after Biden, and I don't mean you weren't part of the administration. I'll get to you in a second in terms of what's going on right now. But if you think I'm playing coy, you don't know me as well as you should.
Chris,
I'm not playing coy. I know what happened to me,
Chris,
Eric.
I'm
saying that what is happening now looks like what was done to you. That's why I'm asking the question.
Did we raid Biden's home? You know, did we try and bankrupt Biden? Did they come after us? Did we weaponize every AG and DA, against Biden? Do we do that against Hunter Biden, who had a laptop from hell, pictures of cocaine, illicit drug use, prostitution? Did we do that? Did we make up a dirty dossier about Biden? Did they try and destroy Biden's marriage? Was any of that true? I mean, did we make up stories that Biden had secret servers in the basement of his home communicating with the Kremlin in Russia? Did we strip Biden off the ballot of multiple states? Did we take Biden off of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and try and silence his voice so he couldn't communicate? Did we put Biden in a courtroom every single day? 91 felony counts that have all been overturned for my father now, right? For nonsense, to try and keep him off of a campaign trail and to try and destroy his life. Did we do any of that?
That was rapid fire brilliance. Eric rattling off example after example, all true, by the way, while Cuomo just blinked like a deer in the headlights. This is a guy who basically showed up to a gunfight with a plastic knife. Okay, let's get you to some breaking news out of California now. A suspect is in custody for allegedly starting the Pacific Palisades fire, the one that killed 12 people and destroyed over 6,000 homes.
The complaint unsealed today charges the defendant with destruction of property by means of fire, a felony that carries a mandatory minimum 5-year federal prison sentence and is punishable by up to 20 years in federal prison.
Here's the suspect, Jonathan Rinderknecht. He's 29 years old. And let's not forget, this fire was a Hollywood nightmare. And what does our slick Governor Gavin Newsom peddle to the masses? The ultimate climate change hoax. He swears up and down that these blazes are all thanks to science that's gone wild.
This is the reality, the new reality of extremes. Extreme heat, extreme drought. You have droughts and rain bombs. You have flooding at the same time you're dealing with droughts, all happening concurrently. There's a new reality, the world we're living in. And if you're not believing science, you have to believe your own eyes.
Well, slap a sticker on it. Gavin, you just might need to yank those Newsom was right about everything hats right off the shelves because surprise, surprise, he has struck out again. I mean, this guy is dead wrong on everything. Homelessness, crime waves, COVID chaos that had us all masked up like superheroes gone wrong forever. And then schools. Do you remember when he strutted around bragging about education progress? But reality check, 2/3 of kids are flunking math and over half can't read at grade level. So bravo, Governor. You've just handed Republicans more ammunition for your 2028 White House fantasy run. But hey, no sweat. President Trump, he can just keep slinging those hats like hotcakes because once again, the man nailed it on the Palisades fire cause.
It looks like, I don't want to say what it looks like, but you know what I'm going to say. It looks like something hit it. And we won't talk about what hit it, but it is a bad, bad situation.
Common Sense scores another epic win. And guess what? It might just be going viral, finally. Just last week, I dropped a clip of Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. She was schooling CNN's Caitlin Collins after she chose to ignore the Portland mayhem. Well, guess what? CNN is finally fessing up to the spike in attacks on ICE in that liberal utopia.
There have been incidents, and they've been important. Flammable materials stacked against the ICE facility. Another man lit that material. A suspect punched and tried to choke an officer. June 12th, 10 people were arrested, some for starting fires outside the building, allegedly. June 14th, a protest in connection with the No Kings movement turned violent. Police declared a riot. They made 3 arrests there, and following the week after June 14th, police monitored the area and they made 4 arrests. So there is plenty of stuff going on. The police have been called more than 100 times to the ICE facility this year. So that's a lot of action there. Total arrests there, 40 arrests since early June, and total federal charges, 31 defendants charged with federal crimes since June 13th.
For a second, I was bursting with pride, like CNN was having a full-on epiphany in therapy. But then, bam, they dropped this gem and they totally just ruined my moment.
The question, Wolf, is do more federal agents, do military people showing up there help contain all of that, or does that incite it and make it worse?
Classic CNN. Blame the protectors instead of the chaos makers. I mean, it's like asking if firefighters make fires angrier. Let's see how Stephen Miller would answer this question.
It's such a, oh, what a dumb question.
I love Stephen Miller. So good. These rioters, I mean, they're basically like toddlers, right? Who never got told no. They're testing boundaries, they're daring anyone to stop them. And so far, nobody really has. So until they face real, consistent consequences, the tantrums will continue. Now, Kristi Noem, she nailed it. Portland doesn't have a crime problem, it has a parenting problem. There are simply no adults in charge here.
One of the things I've been dealing with all day here in Portland is a bunch of pansies that are elected into political office who won't make a decision to keep their citizens safe. I told them what we wanted. We wanted more security here at the building, a bigger buffer zone to keep our officers safe. We wanted to have their streets opened up again and not let the anarchists run this city anymore.
Public safety is not rocket science. Protect the officers and escort the troublemakers home before the streetlights come on. But instead, Portland, they just want to embrace destruction, and they would rather appeal to their far-left base who appear to be holding them hostage than standing up and doing what's right for their citizens.
Just met with a mayor, and I'm so extremely disappointed. He's continuing to play politics, did not commit to any of those promises, and said that he'd give me an answer by tomorrow, and I'm hopeful that he will. What I told him is that if he did not follow through on some of these security measures for our officers, we were going to cover him up with more federal resources, and that we were going to send 4 times the amount of federal officers here so that the people of Portland could have some safety.
And that's the toddler taming masterclass. Crank up the reinforcements, amp the accountability, and watch Antifa scatter like cockroaches. The $1 million head scratcher, though, is why on earth would anyone greenlight federal agents getting stalked and straight up ambushed like it's open season? This is not a video game. It's our frontline heroes, and they are under fire.
You've got so many people here in Portland playing politics. They don't realize they're up against professional terrorists. Antifa-affiliated individuals are outside this building right now shouting death to my law enforcement officers while the mayor drives home and probably has a fancy dinner tonight and goes to sleep in his cushy bed. It's just not acceptable.
Let's cut to Chicago now, where the Texas National Guard is prepping at a local base. They're working on legal takedowns and crowd wrangling, while Illinois and Chicago's leaders, they're slapping the Trump admin with a lawsuit over federalizing these troops. The president taking to Truth Social this morning, writing, quote, Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also. And right on cue, Chicago's Mayor Brandon Johnson pulling the ultimate lefty Hail Mary, the race card.
You know, first of all, this president is unstable, unhinged, a double-minded individual that, quite frankly, is a threat to our democracy. And it's certainly not the first time that Donald Trump has called for the arresting of a black man unjustly. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay firm as the mayor of this amazing city, which was voted 9 years in a row the best big city in America, and we're going to defend all of Chicago.
While he cries racism over Trump's jail call, his approval ratings are dropping faster than Gavin Newsom's mask at the French Laundry. I mean, he is down to a miserable 26%. Chicagoans, they're begging for a do-over. They're done, right? The race card's been swiped one too many times, and it is now officially declined. And you know what else should scare people, especially those of us who live here in California? Katie Porter, the leading Democrat in the governor's race, and apparently the leading candidate for most easily triggered. This woman is so allergic to Trump. She's broken out in hives at the mere mention of his voters, people like us. Watch what happens when a reporter calmly asks whether she can persuade Trump voters in California to vote for her. This goes downhill really fast. Take a look.
What do you say to the 40% of California voters who you'll need in order to win, who voted for Trump?
How would I need them in order to win, man?
Well, unless you think you're going to get 60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%. Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you. That's what you're saying.
In a general election, yes. If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
But you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't think
I feel like this is unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
correct. And I said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that...
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered our follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And
Porter,
we're just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never
reporter.
had to do this before, ever.
You've never had to have a conversation with
to end
a
an
reporter?
interview.
Okay, but every other candidate has done this.
What part of I'm me? I'm running for governor because I'm a leader. So I am going to make...
So you're not going to answer questions from reporters? Okay, why don't we go through? I will continue to ask follow-up questions because that's my job as a journalist, but I will go through and ask these, and if you don't want to answer, you don't want to answer. So nearly every legislative...
I don't want to have an unhappy experience with you, and I don't want this all on camera.
If you crumble under a couple of softball questions, how the heck are you supposed to wrangle one of the biggest, messiest states in America without turning it into a total dumpster fire, which Gavin Newsom pretty much already has? She's got Trump derangement syndrome so bad that she can't even stomach the idea of a diehard Trump supporter tossing her a pity vote. Well, relax, Katie, because that ballot box betrayal, it's not happening. And plot twist, she won't snag her ex-hubby's vote either. Divorce docs dug up by the New York Post spilled the tea that she verbally torched him nonstop, hurling toys, books, whatever wasn't nailed down. And get this, she allegedly dumped a steaming vat of scalding hot mashed potatoes right on his head, mid-brawl. She called him an effing idiot several times and even shattered a glass coffee pot in rage over a little speck of dust. This sounds more like Desperate Housewives gone wrong than it does governor material. I will continue to follow this one. Hopefully, this was the start of the end for her. Up next, my favorite episode so far. If you missed yesterday's showdown, you have got to see it. Stephen Miller, Pam Bondi, and President Trump, they troll the left into complete humiliation at levels we have never seen before. I promise you, you will be laughing all the way through. Go ahead, click on that video you see now on your screen, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.